Alright, this is now going to be on trimming and ripping on the table saw, trim cuts and splitting. Okay, so what we're going to do on here is we're going to take our piece of wood. We've got a partially good face, two good faces, a good edge, and a rough edge. Okay, so you can see your rough edge, your good edge. We never put a rough edge against the fence because otherwise it's going to try to cut that profile. We're looking to trim this, to clean that up, and then split it down the center. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to set my fence, so I'm going to unlock from back here. I'm going to slide across very gently. I'm going to lock it back down in place, and what I'm looking to do is slide this forward and make sure I'm catching the edge of the blade on that side. Then I'm going to flip it end for end, like so. And I'm going to touch it again on this side. Make sure it's going to hit the blade. I want to clean this edge right off. Okay, so I'll place that in. Okay, for the first cut, I'm going to leave this saw guard up. Normally, it's going to be right here. But I want you to be able to see what I'm doing with the cut. Notice how my push stick will not fit in between the fence and the blade there. So I am required to use a push stick for this cut. Okay, your push stick placement is very, very important. You don't want to put it up against the fence, and you don't want to run it across the blade. As you can see, some of them have been. That's fine because that's what we do to save our fingers. When we're making our cut, we're going to have one hand to the outside right here. Okay, if you see where I'm putting my hand, I'm nowhere near the blade. Okay, I'm way back on it, way back here. I'm not going to go this close, obviously. I'm going to be back here. The one thing that I made a mistake on so far, and I'm sure some of you have already caught on to it, that I didn't check the depth of my blade to see how high it has to be when I cut. To check that, I put my piece of wood beside the blade like this, and I cover the blade, and I look. Right now my blade is too low for the fact that these little guys right here, these little hollows in my blade, my gullets, are not above the edge of my blade, my wood. So I'm going to place it there, and I'm going to raise it up from the front so that my gullets are just above the wood. Okay, this way my saw is not going to overheat if I'm making multiple cuts. Alright, so we're set to there. We're set for height, we're set for the cut. Okay, my safety glasses will now go on. For the first cut, I'm going to show you without this on. I'm also not going to put on the dust collector for the fact that's a little bit too loud beside this machine to be able to see anything. Okay, so saw is on. Yes, we are using a saw stop, so it will protect you, but I still want you as safe as possible at all times. Don't test it ever. Here we go. We're going to turn the saw on. We're going to pull the handle towards us in the back here. Turn it on. My hand stays right here. It doesn't move. I don't push it towards the blade. I leave it right where it is. I'll step my finger past it. This is my trim cut. Okay, my trim or my cleaning cut. Once I get near, I lock my back thumb in place. I'll take my push stick. I put it in the center of the wood. Not to here, not to here. In the center, and I want to clear the blade now. I'm going to push, keep going, and I'm going to push it all the way through. I'm not going to leave it here. I'm going to push it all the way past. Put your saw guard down. This is how it's going to look. Same thing. Here we go. There might be a piece sitting to the outside here. I won't touch that piece. The fact that it's not going anywhere. Continue to make your cut. Okay. Anything to the outside edge of the blade on this side here, we're not going to touch it until the blade stops moving because there's no need to touch it. So I'll take this, I'll move it away. I'm going to check my measurement on this side over here. You can do a little bit of math in your head if you like. We are just under 5 7/8. So in my head, my math, I'm looking at probably about 2 3/4 should get me almost half. Okay, so I'm going to grab my pieces and bring them back. Don't mind me, I'm going to block the camera. So I'm going to reset this now, pull it closer to the blade, set it for 2 3/4. Since I'm gluing all these back together, it doesn't really matter exactly if they're perfect because they're all the same type of wood. This time I'm going to put my good side down to get a cleaner cut. Actually, we'll leave it the other way. I get a better cut this way. Turn it on, same thing. I'll show you once with the guard up, twice with the guard down. When you do your cuts are always going to be guard down. Okay, so your guard will always be here. My hand to the side, I push past my hand, as you can see. Okay, I lock my thumb, I put my piece in the center of this one now. Center of the piece you're keeping and push. Guard down. Same thing. I begin cutting, I push, lock it, and go. Take my next piece, pull to the side, push, lock my thumb, and go. Now turn off the saw. Again, this piece does not have to be touched. It's not going anywhere. It's not under pressure. The most dangerous piece of wood on this saw is in between the blade here and the fence here because this is under constant pressure. This is why I never take my push stick off when I'm pushing through. I'm always in the center and I'm always pushing through. I never take it away from there. Okay? This can sit here all day and dance if it wants to. It's not going anywhere.